Welcome to Tech with Victor. From my previous video on classes, I got a comment and a request if I can make videos or make a tutorial about JavaScript arrays. So here is an excerpt from one of my videos with a detailed explanation of how to work with JavaScript arrays. You have to have a solid understanding of what array means and how it works, and so we're going to look at what is an array, okay, and the easiest ways to define or explain what an array is to give an example. So if we define an array, let's say const, we use const, right? Let's say const countries to define the array object called countries. And so then you open a square bracket, like we said in previous video, end of line, use semicolon, and then with the single quotes we can then list the names of the countries we want to save in the country object. So I'm going to go with Germany, then the second country separate with the comma, and then I can say Gabon, right? And then I can say Nigeria. Remember, this is string, so we cover string with single quotes. Nigeria, I can see Niger, and then I can see other countries like France, right? And then I can say Italy, right? So what we just did here was that we are creating a list of countries and we are storing it into the country object. This is const, is how we define variables, right? It's a keyword we use to define variables. So if we want to print out or see what we have saved or stored inside the array countries, we can just log it to the console and say console.log, open bracket, and see countries, IntelliSense, end the line with semicolon. And so if you look at the console output, you see 6. We have 6 countries in country. If you click on the toggle button, you have Germany, Gabon, Nigeria, Niger, France, Italy, right? And the length of the array is 6, okay? A prototype array. So if you notice that the numbering starts from 0, which means array uses the 0 base counting. So in the previous video, we talked about dates. The months, 0 means January, February, 1 represents February. So you see that arrays also use the 0 base counting. So generally in programming, you use 0 base counting, especially when you want to when you are dealing with arrays. Okay, so another thing that we can do is, what if you want to refer to a particular country? You just want to print only one country out of the list. So it's quite simple. You use the index. If you know the index number, this is called the index number. You use the index of the countries you have here to find the country. So if I want to print Germany, I will just say console.log, okay, countries, then you put a square bracket and then you put the index number. So Germany here is in the 0 position, so the index number will be 0. Gabon is in number 1 position and the index will be 1, right? Nigeria is number 2, Niger is number 3, France is number 4, Italy is number 5, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I want to print Germany, I put index of 0. So on my console, I should see Germany. If I want to print Nigeria, it should be Germany is 0, Gabon is 1, Nigeria is 2, index 2. So I put 2, right? So this is how to reference or how to find a particular element in the array, okay? So if we go back to seeing the list or the elements that we have in the array, you could see that we have 0 to 5. So you can only use 5. So what if I enter 6? What do we get? If I say countries, square bracket, and then 6, what do we have? So you get undefined. So we get undefined, which means that the 6th element in the array was not defined. Okay, so you have it. This is how we can access elements in the array. And when you want to access an element through an index that is not already initialized, you get this error. You get this error of undefined. Okay, so now how about when we want to add more countries to the list that we have? We want to add more elements. So it's quite easy. Keyword we use is push. So this push will now add a new element to the array. So let's say the array name is called countries.push. So which country do you want to add? I love Portugal, Cristiano Ronaldo. So let's add Portugal. So if you add Portugal and then I uncomment this, that's console.log countries. So you see that we are having Portugal added to the end of the list. Okay. And so if I need to add one more countries, let's say countries.push Guinea. It's a Guinea Republic. Okay. So let me add one more country. Countries.push Ghana. One more countries.push. Okay. Countries.push. Let's say France. Oh, I forgot India. Okay, so we're gonna add countries.push. This is a manual means of adding to the array, but this will give you an understanding of how the array works. India, yeah, countries.push. When you practice this way, muscle memory helps you a lot. So let's see, Bangladesh. Okay, so you see now that I have 12 countries, right? And then the length is 12, but because of the numbering we have 0 up to 12. So this is how you can add elements to the object country, which is your array. Okay, so now when you have added an element to an object, so the next question is how would you remove them? So you will remove them basically by using the keyword pop. Okay, so now pop will remove the last element on the list. For instance, the last country that we have on the list here is what? Bangladesh. So when I say countries.pop, okay, these are methods that you use to perform certain operations. Push method, pop method. So let's say now countries.pop. Then it has a open and close brackets, but in this pop method, it does not take any arguments. Okay, so unlike the push method needs to take an argument. You need to take a value, which is what we used here. So if you say pop, countries.pop, then if you notice that we are now, our output now has India as the last, meanwhile we have Bangladesh here before. Now sometimes this does not show you, you might not know, sometimes you don't know if your object was removed, so you could actually print it to the console. You can say last countries. So I'm trying to create a variable now, so but we need to give it a keyword. So let's say const last countries is equal to countries.pop, so that when I print to the console.log last countries, I should have Bangladesh on the screen. Okay, so this is how we can remove and we can store the countries that we have removed. So the next thing is, what if we know the name of the element in the array, but we do not know the index number? Of course, the example we look so far is so easy that you could see the index number, but what if you know, oh, I know that there is France in my array, but I do not know the index number. So how do you get the index number? Let me comment this out. Okay, so we can get the index number by using another keyword or another method called index of. Is camel casing index of. So let's say I want to get the index of France, right? So I can say console.log print to the screen, console.log countries.index of. Now open and close brackets and then your single quotes and put France. So we have the index of number 4, which is actually the index of France. So if we do console.log and we print all the names of the countries, we are still going to get that. We're still going to see that France is in the 4th index. Console.log countries, end line with semicolon. Okay. countries.log. Oh, console.log, not countries.log. Okay, console.log. All right, so let's see what's the index of France. Number 4. So you see, to get the index, you use the keyword index of. I believe this is clear so far. And so if, for instance, you enter a country that is not in the list, this can be used to search. Okay, they give you elements, okay, in an array, and they say find out if this element is there. So you could use index of to check if the element is there, find out if this element exists, or before you add a country to the list, find out if it exists. So you can check the index of. So if you enter a country that is not on the list, it's going to return -1, which means it does not exist. It is not on this list. So which country is not on the list? There was no Spain there. Or if you even have a typographical error and you do France with a small letter, we are going to get -1, because programming is case sensitive. JavaScript is case sensitive, just like every other programming languages. Okay, so if you also say index of Spain, Spain was not listed in the element, so Spain -1. So index of helps you to know the index number of the element in the array, and if the element is not in that array, you get -1 as the output. Alles klar? I believe everything is fine so far. Now we are going to learn other interesting stuff, and there are many things to learn in arrays, and I will recommend that to learn as you go, but there are still very key important things and things that are very powerful that I want to share. And the first of them is called the filter. Okay, filter is one powerful function that you can use. So for instance, I want to return the names of countries that start with G. Okay, so if you notice, I had to include countries: Germany, Gabon, Ghana, Guinea Republic. Okay, so it was because I want to use this filter function to return all the countries that start with G. Let me do the filter function, then I walk us through. Let's say const G countries, right, is equal to countries. So this is the country that I want to filter. I want to retrieve all the countries that start with G. So when you define the variable, I call the variable, you can name it. This variable, you can call it whatever I want. I call it G countries because I want to retrieve countries that start with G, right? So then here I'm saying, okay, from that array, I want to perform a particular function, which is called the filter. So I say countries dot what dot filter, IntelliSense countries dot filter. Okay, so if you see the filter, I say filter is array string dot filter. So the filter function is applied to an array string. Okay, so then we open and close bracket, so put a semicolon here, very important, end of line. What we want to do in the filter method, we create a function, so we call it function, and then this function will carry a variable. So we are dealing with G country, so I can say country. You can put anything here, any variable here, and then we have curly brackets. Press on enter to expand it. So I will now say for the countries of filter, I want to go through each element, that means each country, and then return any country that starts with G. So I would then say return the variable country dot start with. My IntelliSense is helping me, so starts with, and open your bracket, semicolon, let's say G. Okay, so if I now print console.log G countries, what do we have on the console? You see that it returned all the list of the countries that start with G. So we're going to look at how to define functions more and how to use them, but I feel it should be explanatory. We want to use the filter method to filter our country array, to go through each of the elements in the array and then select the countries that start with G. So I created a variable called G countries, which is a constant, and then what we do, we apply the filter method on our original array countries. Okay, our original array, our original array is countries, right? So then in the function, in the filter method, we create a function that has a variable. So this variable is standing for each element of the array. So it's going through each of the array and then checking it if it starts with G. It goes through each of the elements rather and checks if it starts with G. All right, so this is how we work with arrays. Start with, and there's another method we can also look at. It's called substring. So substring is a method used with strings. So you could get a particular part of a string. For instance, if I want to only get in my output, I want to only get GER from Germany. I don't want to get the whole of Germany, or let's say Nigeria. I want to get NIG and not just Nigeria, and not just the whole Nigeria. So substring help you to extract parts of a string. Okay, for instance, if you have substring, you could just extract sub from the substring. So that is the method substring. So let's see how the substring works. Okay, so remember that here, okay, constant last countries does pop, and if we pop this, okay, let me comment out this so we don't get -1. I want to see Bangladesh right on the screen, and let me comment out the G countries. Okay, so now Bangladesh. So this is countries or last countries. So we printed out the last countries, and so we want to use the substring. So let's use substring. Console.log, we open the bracket and we say last countries dot substring. It brings you the IntelliSense. You click on tab, so substring, and then open your bracket and said, so where do we want to get it from? Bangla. So Bangla, we want to get only Bangla, not Bangladesh, or let's say Bang. So we say 0, 1, 2, 3. So which means we are starting from 0 up to 3. So what is it? Okay, so up to 4. If we need Bang, it will be from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3. So it excludes the 4th index. So you're starting from 0 up until 4, but excluding 4. I hope you get a gist. So you count up to 4, but you exclude 4. So it will be more like 0 to 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3. Or you can see the other way, like the first 4 letters, 1, 2, 3, 4. Anyhow you can see. So that is the substring. Substring is very important, and you can use it in a lot of places. So now we know how substring works. So we're going to create a new array using another method called map. Okay, so let's look at the map. So we're going to use the substring method that we use now to extract the first 3 letters from the countries and then print them out. So Germany will be GER, Nigeria will be NIG, Bangladesh will be BAN, India will be IND. So let's write the function. So we're going to say const first 3 letters is equal to the array that I want to work on, countries dot, we're going to be using map, right? So open and close the bracket, put your semicolon, go back into the bracket, tab, so that there'll be space for you to write in the function. So we call the keyword function. So this function is, we're going to create a variable that will do the iteration. So you can put any name here. I can put X, you can put Y. So but for readability, I'll just say country, function country. Okay, then I put the curly bracket and enter tab. So I want it to return the variable I just created, which is country. So this country means that one single element of the array. Pick one single element and then iterate through the rest. So return country dot with this substring. So we need the first 3 letters, right? So that will be from 0 to 4. 0, 4. Are we right? So we need the first 3 letters. 0, 1, 2. So that will be 0 to 3. 0 to 3 will return the first 3 letters. Okay, so then let us print out the first 3 letters. So we do console log semicolon at the end and say, oh no, okay, and say first 3 letters And there we have it. Let me comment out Bangladesh wherever you are. Okay, comment this out. So you see now that with substring we're able to extract the countries. We're able to extract the first 3 letters of all the countries, and we use substring, and we use map, I beg your pardon. So we use map to do this. So it's time to practice. Pause and practice what you've learned. So this is the foundation, and you may say, no, I don't need this. I want to be a React developer, or I want to be an Angular developer, but you have to deal with arrays a lot. So here is the basics, here is the fundamentals. Practice, practice, practice. So you should be able to practice 3 times the length of this video, so that you don't get stuck in the future. You want to, sometimes you feel like, oh, I understand this, and you did not really understand what was going on, and when you really need to use it, you have to go back again to the whole video. I'm telling you from experience, you have to go back again to the whole video and watch again. Okay, where did I miss this? Where was this? So if you take the time now to practice and practice, you build your muscle memory. So when you are done practicing, come back for the next video. And of course, if you have not subscribed to my channel, kindly click the subscribe button. And if you like this video so far, hit the like button. And I also love to hear comments and feedback from you if you are following this course so far. Thank you guys, and thank you ladies also.